Welcome back to another Music Monday. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be here with you guys to give you another reaction. I'm going to switch it up this week, so probably not since the fourth episode of Music Monday. After that point, I started listening to your guys' suggestions. But this week, I wanted to switch it up and listen to MGK's new single called Papercuts, where he collabed with Travis Barker once again. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't know, it's an intriguing choice. I like MGK. I know a lot of people are not sold on him and think that he's cringeworthy, and I can definitely see that in some regards. Like, I think some of the music that he's made is definitely cringeworthy, but I think he's an impressive artist, and it's good to see the switch over. So he was rapping for, the first part of his career, and then last year he dropped Tickets to My Downfall, which was like sort of like an alternative pop punk record, sort of like a mix of the two. And he collabed with Travis Barker on that project. And honestly, the first time I listened to it, I wasn't too heavy on it. But after I kept listening to it more and more and more, I actually think that MGK has made a successful crossover to do a different genre. And I do respect him. I listened to him a lot when I was in high school. I listened to his earlier rap days. And so I don't know, because anytime that you take a risk as an artist and do something that drastic where you switch over, you have to be prepared for the amount of hate that you might receive from people, the criticism that you might get. And honestly, you might fail, you might flop, just because he's a rapper doesn't mean he was going to be successful in another genre. But that's the cool thing about these creative artists, musicians. I think that it's good to not put yourself in a box. So whether you like his music or not, like what he's been putting out recently, I think it's admirable that he tried something different, because a lot of artists probably have the same ideas that he does. They want to do something different, something that they're not accustomed to, something that might flop their career, and they let that get in the way. They let that fear set in, and then they never take a chance on themselves. And this is the same thing that could be said for just people in general. The fear of living, the fear of moving out of the state that they've always lived in. There's a lot of examples of people who can't push past their fear because the risk is too frightening. And I don't know if he alluded to maybe another album in this genre, because he's still working with Travis Barker, so I think that we might get another album with Travis Barker.
Bleach my hair, mess it up, take my life, dress it up, signed a deal, I got paper cuts, they wanted them, but they got us.
All right, I'm just trying to take it in, man, because there's a lot going on in this music video. First off, it's very weird to see Machine Gun Kelly bald and have no tattoos on him, so that's probably some makeup that was done to make him look like that. But on my first impression, there's, like I said, there's a lot going on, and so Papercuts, I mean, he's talking about in the chorus about how he signed a deal and how everybody treats him a certain way. He had a kid, smoked a blunt. I don't know. It seems like from what we've gotten from MGK over the last half year or so, I wouldn't necessarily say all of his songs are depressing, like depressing lyrics, but it definitely seems like he's addressing some more serious like content in his songs. So I think this song, or at least based off of what I've heard so far in this song, it seems like he might be addressing like the music industry and just his fans in general, like people giving him shit for stepping outside of the box and doing something different. Because again, people are gonna hate. They're gonna get after you for the things that they wish that they could be doing. And MGK took a leap of faith and started to do this crossover in his career, which I'm sure he'll probably still go back and rap at some point.
It's analyze everything the headlines say lately. Everything they say. Demonized just because I was an angel face, baby.
Yeah, so kind of going on to what I was saying earlier about the music industry, maybe just critics in general too. He's talking about how he's been internalizing everything the critics say, the media say, the people that are judging him, based on his music content, the things that he's putting out. And I can only imagine how hard it would be to be in the limelight. I've talked about this a lot on this Music Monday episodes that I've been doing. We talked about Ronnie Radke and Falling in Reverse, and how you get condemned for things that you've done in the past, which I don't know if MGK really has anything crazy that he's done in the past. I mean, everybody's fucked up at some point, but when you're putting out material like him and Ronnie, or any artist, any musician, you're putting out material that's getting, dissected by like thousands of people, and obviously you're going to have your fans that are always going to stick by you no matter what, but then you're going to have the critics, you're going to have the people that are floating kind of halfway in between, and it's got to be a hard industry to be in, and I think it's like you need constructive criticism to understand what you may be doing wrong. So like I don't think it's bad of an artist like MGK to like maybe go and read some comments from some fans or some critics and be like, all right, yeah, they brought up some good points, this is where it can be better. But then there are the people that are just spewing fucking hate all the time, and that's what you have to ignore or detach yourself from. And I've heard this theme come up a lot for artists and musicians, like Logic, talking about how depressed and anxious he can be from just, reading what everybody is saying about his music. And then you have Mac Miller, who I've also talked about on this Music Monday segment, where, people were talking about his breakup with him and Ariana. And it gets to this point where you start blurring the lines because you know who you are, you know who you truly are, you're trying to figure out who you are, and you're trying to express that and be honest and authentic through the music. But then you have people criticizing you and telling you what you should be doing or who you should be or how your music should change. And it's hard. It's hard to be a part of because, if you read too much into that, you start believing it. You're like, fuck, man, really? Like, maybe this is what I should be doing. So I don't know. This is a good song. I mean, it has really good instruments. I love having Travis Barker on the drums. MGK, he can actually play guitar, and he actually does sound very well when he's singing. There's a part in the song where he's kind of humming, like in the chorus. He's like, but it's weird because he's also sort of monotone in the verses, like he's almost kind of slow paced. I don't even know if I would call it rapping. I'm not sure if that's the right description for it, but I think what I appreciate so much about MGK is like he's outside the box. Whether you say he's cringeworthy, whether his music sucks or not, like he's trying something different. And like I said earlier in the video, that's what I respect, because I feel like most artists don't try that. You know, I feel like they limit themselves so much because they okay, so they blow up and they create like a narrow path for themselves. They fit inside their lane, but then they never like test the waters, which is a bad reference. If you're in a car lane and then you go outside and there's water, you probably shouldn't do that because you don't want to take your car into the water. But what I'm trying to say is like people, they stick and stay to what they know and what has gotten them success in the past, which is okay, I guess, if you want to play it safe. But it's like, if you don't ever take a risk, you don't ever know what is going to happen. I mean, you never know what the reward could be because you didn't take the risk. So say what you want about MGK. I respect him for what he's doing, and I like the music that he's creating, and I think his artistic vision is evolving, because this is definitely a different MGK than the MGK that I got introduced to when I was like a freshman in high school listening to Wild Boy featuring Waka Flocka Flame, if any of you guys remember that song. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's impressive, and I think this is a good song.
Mess it up, take my life, dress it up, signed a deal, I got paper cuts, they want it down, but they got
Travis Barker, bro, he's always shredding it. Huh. That was a cool video. It's pretty creative. There's a lot going on, so it's hard to pay attention to all of it.
The recording has stopped.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. Anyways, there was a lyric that I caught in there in the last minute or so that kind of ties to this whole idea that I've been talking about. He said something about a career suicide. So again, I think that based on the music that MGK has been making over the last year or so with his last album, and now this single, which may ultimately lead to another album that sounds somewhat similar to what he made on Tickets to My Downfall, a lot of people have been criticizing him for the music that he's been making, and he's sort of addressing that in this song, like, hey, like, and it's cool because it's like he's up on this pedestal, but he's looking down at all these freaks and all these people that are there either supporting him or, criticizing him. And I never understand the people that when they talk about some of their favorite artists, they want them to go back and make a project that they've already made. It's like, why would you want that? Like, why would you want to hear the same thing? If you want to listen to that album, go listen to it. I love seeing artists get outside of their comfort zone and do something different, because it takes courage. It takes courage to, for one, make music in general and put that shit out there. But if you're going to take a whole career switch, a different path, like, MGK has, I mean, you got to have some balls to do that. That's not easy. And so I just hope that, you know, I'm not like the biggest MGK fan out here. Like, I liked him a lot when I was in high school. And I still listen to his music just because, I don't know, he's one of the bigger named artists out there. And, but I just want people to appreciate, like, what he's doing, you know, and acknowledge how hard it is to do that, to make that switch, to be vulnerable like that. You know, it's not very common that that happens. I don't think that's encouraged a lot in today's day and age, is to go outside of your comfort zone, but there is so much growth that occurs from that. So, all right. So, if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe. Please like the video. Tell your friends. You know, this week was a little bit different than most because I actually didn't get this suggestion on my channel or anything. Hopefully next week I'll get back to that. And if you guys have any new suggestions, please send them in. I thank you guys for coming over here to the channel, watching these videos. It means a lot. I appreciate it. And I just want to keep going. I want to keep getting better. And so I will see you guys on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.